Let's talk about the different types of LLC. And the question is, which one is the best? Because a lot of folks are talking about LLCs, but you need to have a clear understanding of the types of LLCs that you need to think about before choosing the best one. So here's an overview I want you to really pay attention to. So if you have decided to form an LLC, listen, congratulations. You've done a lot of thinking about it. You know what you want. But it's really important to understand that when you talk about LLC, in other words, a limited liability company, you have 6 to 8 different types of LLCs. So, and choosing the best one for you depends on your business needs and the state where you are located. So if you are in New York versus Alabama or Georgia, or like, it really depends, okay? And so in today's conversation, what I want to do is I want to really talk about each LLC as well as its pros and cons. But first, let's go back to the origins. So what is an LLC, in case you're not familiar with this type of business structure? So a limited liability company is a business structure designed to protect the owner's personal assets. In other words, the whole thing is designed to provide limited liability from the activities or debts of the business. So it is basically a legal entity that is filed with the state where it is formed. So you are not filing an LLC at the federal level. No, you are filing an LLC with the state where you are actually formed. So no matter what type of LLC you create, you'll have options when it comes to taxation. By default, all LLCs are pass-through tax entities, meaning what? Meaning the business income passes through to the members as personal income. And so basically that means what? It means that you are filing Form 1065, that's at the LLC level, but you're not paying any taxes at the entity level. You are paying taxes at the personal level when you file your 1040 Schedule C. So you put all your income and expenses on your Schedule C. So LLCs can actually elect to be taxed as C corporations or S corporations by filing forms with the IRS. Okay, but by default, you are basically considered a pass-through entity. It's very important to understand that when we talk about LLCs, you have size and management. So basically, you have single-member LLCs versus multi-member LLCs when you have like one person versus many people. And you also have member-managed LLCs versus manager-managed LLCs. So these terms describe the management structure of an LLC. If a member-managed LLC, the members collectively make day-to-day operating decisions. In a manager-managed LLC, outside individuals or entities or a specific subset of the members are tasked with managing the LLC. Okay. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Let me talk to you about the decision that really should help you understand exactly what type of LLCs you need to really go for. First of all, let's talk about the types of LLCs. So as I said before, there are 6 to 8 types of LLCs depending on your state, and we'll cover each one and give you the pros and cons of choosing that type. And each type can be a single member LLC or a multi-member LLC, and you can choose to be member managed or manager managed. So LLCs, I just want to remind you that LLCs are created by state law. So each state has its own rules for what LLCs can be created in that state. Some states do not allow creation of certain LLCs, but they may actually, however, allow those types to operate within them. Okay, so it's really important for you to have a clear idea of what types of LLCs your state recognizes by checking out your state-specific guides for how to form an LLC. And this is really will help you understand what are the costs, what is the process, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about domestic LLC. That's the first one. So domestic LLC is the most common of the LLC types. Domestic here refers to an LLC that has been created and operates in the same state. So let's say you are in New York and you actually create an LLC in New York. So that's a domestic LLC. So what are the pros and cons here? Well, the pros, fees are usually lower than foreign LLCs. It's easier to form in the same state you want to operate in. What are the cons here? The whole thing requires more paperwork, and starting from scratch takes a little longer. What about the foreign LLCs? So business owners who want to do business in more than one state can form a domestic LLC in one state and register their LLC in other states as a foreign LLC. So foreign here simply means that the LLC was created in a different state than the one it wants to register and operating. So foreign doesn't mean, you are actually just, you created an LLC in the States and you want to go to England or you want to go to France, you want to go to Germany to operate there. It just means that you created an LLC in New York and you want to operate, let's say in Georgia or in Florida. What are the pros and cons here? The pros first, it is easier to register an LLC that's already formed and branding and marketing is already established. What about the cons here? The business name may be taken in a new state, and it is more expensive than domestic LLC in most states. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the different types of LLCs you need to know this year. Let's talk about Series LLC, another type of LLC. So a Series LLC consists of a parent or umbrella LLC with one or more LLCs owned and operated under it. So this tiered structure allows business owners to separate assets and strengthen liability protection among different business ventures without having to start a new LLC from scratch with each venture. So Series LLCs are recognized by 19 states as of this year. So let me talk to you about the pros and cons so we have a clear idea here. Pros, it is ideal for real estate investing. You have enhanced liability protection. You can take on additional projects without having to start brand new LLCs. What about the cons here? Well, you need paperwork like articles of organization, as well as bank accounts and operating agreements for parent and each series. So it's not available in every state. As I said, only have 19 states where it is available. So yeah, it is what it is. Let's talk about another type of LLC. You have nonprofit LLC. So a nonprofit LLC is an LLC organized for a purpose other than making money. So its purpose can be charitable, social, educational, or even political. However, a nonprofit LLC can only achieve 501c3 status if it meets more narrow conditions. And nonprofit organizations are often organized as corporations or other business structures. And a nonprofit LLC is formally recognized in 5 states. So only 5 states recognize that business structure. You have Alabama, you have Kentucky, Minnesota, North Dakota, and Tennessee. What are the pros and cons of this type of organization here? The pros, you can form an LLC for a charitable purpose. You don't need a board of directors or regular meetings. What about the cons? It's not available in most states. The tax exempt status is difficult to obtain and no distribution to members. Now, let me talk to you about another type here. You have a low profit LLC. So L3C. So it's called L3C. And like nonprofit LLCs, low profit LLCs, L3Cs are business entities created for purposes other than to make money. So it's really important to really specify that. However, unlike nonprofit LLCs, L3Cs can recognize a profit and distribute it among the members. Not every state allows actually formation of L3Cs. Only 15 states allow formation, but every state allows them to operate within its borders. So what happens here is that if you have an L3C and you are able to, like if the L3C has not originated, like you have not formed the L3C within the state where you want to operate, so the L3C becomes a foreign LLC. Okay, and foreign LLC, of course, with all the rights and responsibilities at the legal level that goes with such a status. So I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of this type of LLC. So again, it's called low profit LLC. So the pros first, you are able to operate in any state. So there are no restrictions. There are no geography restriction here. So you have a mission-driven purpose, and you can form a charitable purpose without committing to a nonprofit status. So again, it's one of those things where you have flexibility, you have operational flexibility. So if one month, for instance, you are able to get, let's say you want to switch your purpose, you want to go from charitable to profit seeking, you are able to do this with no problem. Of course, you have to actually comply with the laws and regulations in whatever states you are going to operate in. So those are the pros. What about the cons here? This type of LLC, L3C, cannot be formed in it cannot be formed in every state. So as I said, we only right now we have it available in only 15 states. It's not tax exempt, okay, and donations are not tax deductible. So it's one of those things where before you actually seek donations from donors, I mean from members or from the public, make sure it is clear that they're not going to get they will not be able to write off their donations, the donors that is, they're not be able to write off their donations on the taxes, so it's really important to be transparent about it. I want to talk to you about anonymous LLCs. So when we talk about anonymous LLC, what are we talking about? Well, it's all about what? It's all about hiding your identity. At least if you're an LLC sponsor, you want to make sure that your identity is kind of covered, okay, for privacy reasons. So in the internet age, few activities are truly anonymous. However, in 3 states, so you have Delaware, New Mexico, and Wyoming, you can start an LLC and keep your identity hidden. And I mean totally hidden. I mean, like if you're looking for any information, people looking for any information about you, they will not be able to find it. The LLC members' names and contact information are not listed on a public directory, as is the case with other types of LLCs. And so, if journalists want to really dig a little deeper, or somebody, a member of the public or a family member or whatever, if anybody wants to do research about you, they will not be able to find you as long as you are formed in one of those 3 states, okay, Delaware, New Mexico, and Wyoming. So what are the pros and cons of this type of process here? The pros first. You have heightened privacy protections, so nobody will be able to dig a little deeper into your private affairs. Again, we're talking about not only your own privacy, but also your family privacy overall, and your business partners if you are engaged in a multitude of business transactions. And you also have reduced harassments and spam. So nobody really knows about you. And so, telemarketing agencies, they will not be able to to find your data and just sort of bombard you with ads or whatever. So those are the pros here. What about the cons? You have this actually has lower credibility. It can still be required to disclose identities through lawsuits or applying for an EIN. EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. It's kind of like your company's social security number. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the different types of LLCs that you can think about. So basically, when you think about a limited liability company, you have 6 to 8 different types you need to be aware of as of today. I want to talk to you about another type of LLC. That's the restricted LLC. So what is this? Well, a restricted LLC is actually applicable to only one state. That's Nevada. Okay. So it is a special type of Nevada LLC that cannot be taxed or make distributions for 10 years after its formation. So it's mainly used to pass assets from one person to another. So I just want to remember the 10-year limit. You will not be able to do anything at all if you go through a restricted LLC. So let's talk about the pros and cons of this type of LLC here. So the pros, you are able to transfer assets without paying taxes. And also this type of LLC protects liability of asset transfers. So basically, let's say you have you have $1 million and you're trying to pass on some of that money to your grandchild or your family member, and you want to actually do everything in a very discreet way. A restricted LLC is kind of cool because it gives you that protection. It gives you that level of I would say discretion, but also privacy. So nobody really can see what's happening in your private affairs. And so also you are going to get protection from liability also. Okay, this is really good. So what about the cons of a restricted LLC? The first drawback is that this type of LLC is only available in Nevada. So if you do not live in Nevada, or you do not want to incorporate a foreign LLC in Nevada, you're not going to be able to have this sort of protection, this extra layer of protection. What about another drawback here? Well, you have to think about chronology. So there are no distributions for 10 years. 10 years. For 10 years, nothing happens in the account. So basically, you open a custody account. It will be like a custody account, and it will be you'll be held at a bank or credit union, and you do not touch the money for 10 years. And so after 10 years, then you can touch the money. But before then, so you really have you have to think deeply here. Let me talk to you about a professional LLC, a PLC. So when you think about a professional LLC, I want you to think about a business structure recognized in 29 states that allows members of a licensed profession to form an LLC. So examples of professionals who would form PLCs include physicians, attorneys, chiropractors, and engineers. We've seen also in some areas you have accountants and CPAs. Lawyers also can form this, and some states require every member of a PLC to be licensed in that same profession if the company is formed to provide those services. So that way you have a clear idea, this is kind of cool if you want to join such a professional organization. At least you have the backing of your peers as well. So let me talk to you about the pros and cons so everybody has a clear idea what we're talking about here. So the pros: you are able to form LLC for professionals. Think about it. So you are getting the inherent legal protections that you'll get it by forming a PLC. And so you're not liable for activities of other members, with exceptions, of course. So if a court of law has found gross negligence or other impediments to the law, to the basic law, you might be found liable. So this is it's kind of important to understand that. So those are the pros. What about the cons here? Well, this PLC is not available in all states. So as I said before, as of the date of this show, you have about 29 states that have recognized the PLC status, but the laws are changing really fast. State legislatures are changing laws real fast. So chances are, by the time you watch this show, you will be really you'll be in a situation where you can go to your own state and require your LLC papers. So what about the cons here? Well, the cons here is that so I said before that it's not available in every state, but you also have the fact that this PLC typically require all members to be licensed in that profession. So they have to be licensed in that profession. So if you're forming a PLC for CPAs, so basically all members must be CPAs. So which means that if a member loses his or her license, there is a problem. Okay, so this could really endanger the whole PLC. So be careful here. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Let me quickly recap today's conversation. So I basically was just talking to you about the different types of LLCs. So I explained to you what an LLC is, the size and management of LLCs. So we have domestic LLC, foreign LLC, series LLC, non-profit LLC, low profit LLC. So that's L3C. You have anonymous LLCs, okay? And you also have restricted LLC and professional LLC. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.